Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Tekken 6. Yes, I said episode 3, not part 3, because just to make things more consistent, all parts will be named episodes. Just to get that out of the way. Anyway, in the last episode of Tekken 6, I explained some characteristics with Lars and Alisa. I'm pretty sure you'll learn more about them during the scenario campaign mode. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Also, we've come across Brian, Miguel, and Jack 6. Plus, we managed to take a glimpse at a facility where Lars and Alisa escaped from. Jin, Eddie, and Nina went there to investigate, and they've been reported from an unknown soldier that another Tekken force was here during the scene. The soldier said something about the Secret Service, whatever that is.
The Secret Service is your unit. Care to explain?
But anyway, that's why we're here to learn about the monstrosity of the Tekken Nation, with the Mishima Zaibatsu and the G Corporation against one another. If you're having trouble with the scenario campaign mode, don't worry about it. You can watch the previous episodes again if you want. So without further ado, let's continue our adventure. Alright everyone, it's time to continue our progression with Lars and Alisa. Let's head straight to the next level of the scenario campaign mode, which is the Queen's Harbor. The next boss will be one of the fan favorites in the Tekken series in general. Didn't you say this pier was only for ferries?
This is peculiar. My research finds that such tankers are not permitted in close proximity to piers.
Looks like a tanker to me too. I wonder what it's doing here. This level is very short and perpendicular. All you have to do is to KO these female secretaries and then head straight to the boss at the end of the level. Before I proceed any further, I have to show you something. Just KO a few enemies in this pathway first. And here's the one I was trying to show you. Return to the starting position where you first entered this level. A female secretary will pop out and fight you. If you defeat her, she'll drop a special flag. A special flag is a token for mostly Namco games, as a bonus item. It's just an additional feature that you see special flags in pretty much anything that's Namco involved. When you collect a special flag in the scenario campaign mode, you'll unlock an achievement. There are some levels that have special flags, but you have to collect one of them. So there's no point of collecting another one if you unlock the achievement already. Unless you're going for the high score. Alisa killed that secretary with her head. It's pretty funny. Speaking of head, the boss is straight ahead. So knock these secretaries out and bingo, we fight the boss. There's a scoring system in this game, and it only depends on your performance, such as how many cash and items you collected, the amount of time left in the stage, or level perhaps, and how many enemies you defeated, whether you chaining them with combos or not. We all understand how scoring works. It's a class of beat 'em up game after all. You just have to go all out. You notice that Lars' hands are glowing green. When Lars broke those crates just earlier, one of them contains a green energy drink. It helps you create a ground bounce on enemies with just a single attack. Like, I can just do a light punch or a light kick on them to bounce them on the ground, and follow up with a combo. Sounds pretty neat, isn't it? Well, of course it is. There are other energy drinks later in the levels, and I'll explain about each and every one of them when we get there. But first, boss fight!
Welcome aboard my ship. Are you gonna be my new toy?
Are you really the owner of this ship?
Ooh, I wonder how you'll sing when I hurt you. I can't wait to find out.
This is not equating to a conversation. Alright, this is Lily Rockford, a rich girl from Monaco, France. She's one of the popular characters in the Tekken franchise. Her fighting style is street fighting, Speaking of street fighting, Lily is an inspiration of two Street Fighter characters, Karen Kanzuki from Street Fighter Alpha 3 and Ingrid from Capcom Fighting Jam. In fact, the Tekken franchise is inspired by the success of the Street Fighter series in the classic days, especially the character roster. Yep, both Tekken and Street Fighter have a history together, especially when it comes to characters. Anyway, back to Lily. Her first appearance is Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection for the PSP, which is the portable device for handheld PlayStation games. Lily has her own theme and her own stage in that game, which is pretty unique. So yeah, what is she doing here in Tekken 6? Well, allow me to read her description from the guide. Lily joined the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5 without her father's knowledge, and was subsequently crushed by Asuka Kazama. Unfortunately, her father discovered that she had entered the tournament and banned her from leaving her home. As a result, Lily was unable to take revenge on Asuka. It was then that Lily's father's oil field was taken over by the Mishima Zaibatsu. His company fell into disorder and he collapsed, overworked. Concerned for her father's well-being, Lily searched for a way to alleviate her father's anxiety. She decided to reclaim the oil field that the Mishima Zaibatsu took from her father. While formulating her plans, the Mishima Zaibatsu announced the King of Iron Fist Tournament 6, an excellent opportunity to win back the oil field. So, Lily joined the contest to help her father. Judging by Lily's fighting style, yep, she pretty much plays like a Street Fighter character.
I've done a little research on you. How did you get yourself into such a predicament?
記憶がない上に命まで狙われている。
Well, I'd love to stick around and help, but they need me back home. I'm predicting to face Asuka Kazama. C'est la vie.
大変そうだな、君は。ところで、あれは本当にもらったの？
Somebody gave it to me, but I can't stand the thing. And it's hideous. So now I'm giving it to you.
送り主には悪いが、こちらも困っている。ありがたく使わせてもらう。
Well, time to go. Make sure you finish Kazama, or else I'll kill you.
風間信。ご期待に添えるよう努力するよ。ミコ。
Objection! That cutscene sounds odd to me. You know what? I'm just gonna ask. How did Lily enter the harbor anyway? What's the point of that? Did she drove that vehicle all the way there just to give it away to two strangers? What the? How the heck does she get home then? Let me guess. Her butler Sebastian drove a limo and then he magically appeared in the harbor just to look for Lily. Yeah, whatever. But seriously, it's downright stupid. You can't just give away your vehicle if it's your only vehicle to drive in. Also, there's no clear motive of why she had that vehicle in the first place. Thus, she hates it in disgust, just by looking at it. Why'd I even bother? Yeah, forget it. I just want to exploit that situation, but as you can see in the cutscene, Lily has a grudge against Asuka because she lost to her at the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5. So, just to return the favor, Lily wants revenge against Asuka due to that loss. And now she's acting like Karen from the Street Fighter series just to tease Asuka most of the time. So yeah, that's Lily Rockford, everyone. By the way, this is the last Tekken game for Lily to have her English voice, which is really sad. In the future Tekken games, she will now speak French, just for consistency and nationality. Okay, that's enough Lily for now. I would love to talk more about Lily still, but we have to continue our progress. Let's return to the game.
Anchored in the harbor was a cruiser with the exterior of a tanker. It was piloted by an aesthetically pleasing young female who supplied the keyword Mishima Zaibatsu. She described them as an exceedingly vile organization. Perhaps Lars is also the enemy. I prefer not to consider that option.
Alright, before we proceed to the next level, I have to show you something. It's been a while since I said this. Alakazoo! This is the customization area. You can play around with your favorite characters by customizing their outfits and adding accessories. The treasure chests that you picked up from enemies have unique attributes such as more health, more damage, more defense, and even some special attributes like elemental attacks. You can buy the costumes and accessories yourself, but they won't have any unique attributes, so it's mandatory that you have to pick up the items in-game in order for your character to survive in later levels. I know customization appears to be amusing, but you're gonna have to deal with it. Each treasure chest you picked up is basically random, so there's no telling if you have a better item than the ones you're wearing right now. You might end up with the same clothing item but with a better attribute. If there's a type of clothing that you want, well, you have to wait until you picked up the treasure chest that has the same set of clothing. If there are any items that you don't need, you can sell them. Also, you can switch your clothing to either player 1 set or player 2 set. The clothing I'm using right now is a player 2 set. So if you're wearing player 2 set, Alisa will also wear player 2 set. So keep that in mind. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's the customization area. You can dress them up nice, cool, and good looking, or you can dress them up silly and obnoxious. So either way, it's fine. Alright, so our next destination is Container Terminal 7. This level is very similar to Lily's and Miguel's level, but with more cargo and plenty of areas. Our next boss will be another familiar face. If Lily is the boss of Container Terminal 3, I wonder, who's the boss in Container Terminal 7? Well, let's find out, shall we? Are you sure the armed men we're looking for are here?
According to my data, yes. I detected movement in this vicinity when I checked the area a moment ago.
We'd better investigate. Come on. The enemies in this level are going to pop out of the cargo and then attack you. Right here we have a new enemy, which is the red mask. These guys with red masks knocks you down with fire damage. Just like the customization area, there are 3 types of elements in the scenario campaign mode: fire, ice, and electricity. Fire burns and knocks enemies down by force with more damage. Ice freezes enemies for a few seconds, leading up with combos and stuff. And electricity stuns enemies while slowly losing HP, thus leading to follow-up combos. You'll take advantage of these elements in-game and with costumes. However, these elements are exclusive in the scenario campaign mode, not elsewhere. You're probably wondering why I was punching that guy 100 times. I just never get tired of overkilling these enemies because I can just carry over them to the next area while punching and kicking. It's pretty hilarious. But seriously though, you have all the free time you need just to do that. It's what makes this game fun. The enemies in this level are military based, but there's nothing special about them except for the red mask. They fight the same way but with different fighting styles. This could be a consistent reason, but there are some enemies that share similar fighting styles with their Tekken counterparts, like Miguel, Brian, and such. But don't worry about that. Their fighting styles won't deliver as much damage unless you're surrounded by a horde of enemies or you're playing hard mode. Yes, there is a hard mode in this game, but I'll explain about that later until we complete the main story in this near campaign mode. This level introduces a unique weapon that Lars is carrying right now, and it's called the Flamethrower. If you want to burn a horde of enemies surrounding you, you can. The Flamethrower is a very important arsenal if you want to burn the enemies a lot faster. However, it has a limitation. So, when the limitation count is 0, you'll be forced to drop the Flamethrower and then it'll vanish. There's also a new enemy in this level, which is the Gunman, the one I just killed a few seconds ago. The gunman can only shoot you from a distance, and each of his bullets is a knockdown with a low knockback. So, you have to kill the gunman before going after the other enemies. If you're too close to the gunman, he'll step back a little bit just to gain some distance. Sometimes he'll attack you up close. Man, that would have been so cool if I had to kick all 3 of these guys into the water, but instead I got 2. Well, that seems fair. But still, that's pretty much the fun part of this level. Just to knock these 3 guys into the water. Hey, check it out! We've encountered a new enemy, which is Big Red. This Big Red guy is so beefed up that you can't tackle him nor throw him. You can only damage him with your attacks and combos. When you see Big Red winding up his arms, it means that he's going to charge at you with full power, forcing you to be sent flying if he touches you. He has a lot of HP, so KO him as fast as possible. These wooden boxes are very easy to break, but there are enemies nearby them, so proceed with caution. Also, there's a new enemy with a stunt rod. Remember what I told you about the element electricity and what it does? The stunt rod user can only attack with his stunt rod. That's it. Is that your ship? Ellipses. Looks like I was right. Now if only you were willing to talk. This is Sergei Dragunov, a Russian military member who also made his first appearance in Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection along with Lily Rockford. His fighting style is Commando Sambo Wrestling, meaning that he's a grappler character in the Tekken series. He doesn't speak very often, but he can only talk whenever he's interested in something, like whenever he's after something or something that he likes doing. Anyway, here's Sergei's description in Tekken 6. Sergei Dragunov received orders from the Russian military command to capture the organism known as the Devil. In pursuit of his mission, he successfully infiltrated the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5, but was unable to locate the organism. Russia was in complete disorder with rampant civil disturbances, all believed to be caused by the covert actions of the Mishima Zaibatsu operatives. Commissioned to suppress the national unrest, Dragunov spent quite some time fighting his way across the country. He was eventually called back by the Russian military in order to infiltrate the King of Iron Fist Tournament 6 to crush the Mishima Zaibatsu. Dragunov embarked once again for Japan.
この先にある研究所で出会った。名前はアリサというらしい。ところで君たちは？
俺はトーム。お前率いる反乱部隊の副官を務めさせてもらっている。
反乱部隊？俺が率いているんだって。
そうだ。
待ってくれ。冗談だよな。
戸惑うのも無理はない。だが事実だ。あの日お前は三島財閥の重要拠点であるあの研究所を吸収した。だがそこで予期せぬことが起こった。G 社の会議だ。あの惨状を見た時にはどうなるのかと思ったが、とにかくうちで何よりだった。
じゃあ俺だけが生き残った。
ああ。とにかく一度会に戻ろう。俺のこともある。
間違いないのか？本当に俺は君たちの。
ああ、事実だ。
だとして俺は。
今部隊は九州チームが全滅したとの報告で混乱している。できれば一刻も早く戻ってもらいたいところなのだが。
すまない。
分かった。当面は俺の方で何とかしよう。ただし、お前が戻るまでだ。すでにお前の生存が三島財閥の G 社に伝わっている。単独で行動しているお前に連中がどんな手を使ってくるかわからん。くれぐれも注意しておいてくれ。まあ、お前のことだ。そう簡単にやられるとは思えないから。何かあったときは、俺で連絡してくれ。専用の暗号回線を用意した。とりあえずは傍受されることないだろう。ありがとう。それと、忘れ物だ。
これは
お前のだ。あの研究所に落ちていた。
悪いがこれは受け取れない。今の俺には。
そういうだろうと思っていた。お前が戻るまで俺は預かっておこう。
頼む。
これからどうするかはお前次第だが、まずは三島平八に会ってみてくれ。以前お前は奴に会う必要があると言っていた。何がきっかけで記憶が戻るかわからんからな。
俺とその三島平八とはどんな関係が？
さあな。お前は自分のことは決して語ろうとはしなかったよ。誰に対してもな。じゃあ、俺たちは撤収するね。こうしているだけでも目立って仕方ないからな。
あの方たちは？
どうやら味方らしい。
The ship anchored in the waterway was a Russian warship. The soldier inside was a taciturn and did not cooperate in supplying us with any information. Lars stopped me before I could apply the necessary force. A pity. Area analysis complete. Next destination, the city.
In case you're wondering about that cutscene, allow me to demonstrate for you. We've met Lars' crew members and they turn out to be okay. Remember Lars' objective: eradicate the war between the Mishima Zaibatsu and the G Corporation. One of Lars' soldiers named Togu mentioned Heihachi Mishima and then told Lars to meet with him. That way, Lars can gather up some information about his memories. Lars used to be an aggressive fighter, but since he lost his memory due to the explosion from an unknown Jack robot back at the facility where Alisa was in a capsule, he's very confused and unaware of anything that he runs into, like his crew member Togu. Lars couldn't remember him or the other subordinates, and he's unable to become the leader of the rebel army because of his lost memories. Not to worry, Alisa will assist him as a memory bank for Lars. So now you know just the gist of what's going on in the cutscene. If there's anything that I missed, there's always the comment section below this video. I'm not really thorough when it comes to brief details, so I'm not going to explain pretty much everything there is to know about the game. I'll explain to you as much as I can about it. Anyway, let's get back to the game. Alright folks, our next level in the Snare campaign mode is the Fujin Talut. I never thought this place would be in the Tekken game. It's pretty interesting. And speaking of which, there is an upcoming cutscene that'll explain a little bit more about Alisa, although she's an android with unique and surprising abilities. So let's go! This Chinese merchant sure lives in an impressive place.
Numerous biorings detected. We should anticipate trouble if we mean to search inside.
We might have to think outside the box for this one. It doesn't matter which pathway you choose, they're both similar and there aren't any hidden items in those pathways. There is a special flag at the end of the level. All you have to do is to KO as many enemies as you can before you can defeat the boss. If so, a special flag will appear. Well, sometimes it appears. Anyway, these pathways have these secretaries and the goons with these claws that'll approach you and attack you. There are a few boxes along these pathways, so when you see them, break them so you can restore your health from the chicks and chickens that popped out of the boxes, or you can just collect some loot for your costumes and accessories. Also, there are some big red guys that you have to deal with, and they're tough to take down because of their high health and defense. In case you're wondering about this level, this area is the Fujin Talut. It's based on a real area that's located in southeastern China. It's been a long time since I learned about geography and world history in school, but I never knew much about this place until I played this level in the game. A tolu is kinda like a large hotel that's about 5 stories high of housing that can hold up to about 800 people. As you can see around this area, it's ancient with fine china, wooden tools, antiques, artifacts, cardboard boxes everywhere, vases, and canisters everywhere. I really like the atmosphere of this level. It shows off the worldly aspect of a place that can be found in China. It's a unique place to explore around here, but unfortunately there's a time limit above the screen and we cannot stay here much longer. It's kind of frustrating, but the good thing is we can enjoy the scenery once we fight these enemies. Since we're halfway there to the end of the level, allow me to explain about the protagonist of the game, Lars Alexanderson. Lars is much of a heroic character with determination and fighting spirit. So whatever you do, do not, I repeat, do not crush his spirit. If you try to upset him in any way, your butt will be trounced on the ground. Remember, do not underestimate him or any other fighters in Tekken 6, or any other Tekken game in general. When we meet Heihachi Mishima in the Snare campaign mode, there will be another cutscene where we noticed about Lars having a unique trait that affects his fighting style, which I like by the way. Some of his moves look amazing to play with. I wanted this guy to be my secondary character whenever I played Tekken with him. He also appears in a crossover game called Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which pretty much like 10% of you forgot about that game. That game existed. And Lars is available as a DLC character as a fighter as well, along with Alisa Voskatovic. So, in both 2D and 3D gameplay fighting styles, yeah, Lars is pretty fluid with pretty much anywhere. Like, I love playing with Lars in Street Fighter Tekken and in this game as well. So yeah, I like Lars as a character overall. He's cool. I like it when Lars just slide kicks those vases and they all break simultaneously. It's pretty funny. But anyway, this big red guy right here is blocking the entrance to the boss's room. Defeat him and the door will open. If you're curious about the second pathway at the beginning of this level, just wait until I post a second playthrough of this game with another character. It'll take a while to complete this playthrough with Lars, so just be patient. Alright, now that the big guy is taken care of, well, the big red guy, I mean, it's time for a boss fight! Are you Wang Jin Rae?
Save your words. Speak with your fists.
That wasn't my intention, but if you wish. Alrighty folks, we're up against Wang Jin Rae from China. He's been around ever since the very first Tekken game, and he's one of the unlockable characters. His fighting style is Xing Yi. Come to think of it, there is another character that has that similar fighting style, but we haven't come across that character just yet in this narrative campaign mode. We'll just have to wait till we get there. But anyway, Wang Jin Rae heard of the Mishima family's cursed blood from his close friend, Jinpachi Mishima. Wang was utterly defeated in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5 by Jin Kazama, a man bent on wiping out the Mishima family's cursed blood. Something Wang once sought as well, but Wang was never comfortable with the idea of wiping out his friends and always let other willing bodies step up. Not long after, Jin took the life of Jinpachi, instantly elevating himself as the head of the Mishima family guild. Blaming his failure of his indifference, Wang lamented his lack of action. Once again, the King of Iron Fist is held, and with newfound purpose, Wang participates in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 6. You notice that there's a special flag in the room, but I didn't grab it because I was still wandering around collecting treasures and fight money. Here's a note for you. When you see the term stage cleared on the screen, you have 5 seconds to move around freely to collect the items and stuff that the enemies dropped. If those 5 seconds are up, then the scoring panel will appear from the left side of the screen and you won't be able to move. Yep, you might end up in regret by not collecting those dropped items. It happens sometimes, but you'll get used to it eventually. I bet you're saying, hey, there's a special flag there! Aw, you didn't get it. Too bad. Kinda sucks, isn't it? Well, you can always try the stage again just to collect the special flag via the dropped items. But anywho, here's the next cutscene, which is very interesting.
何か没什么，只是觉得你的眼神很像一个我熟识的人。あなたは三島財閥をご存知ですか？当然知道。也许可以说我对其知之甚多。 りました。アリサ。
どうした？
君は三島平八が南米で発見したという碑文の話を聞いたことはあるか？
ずいぶん前になるが、遺跡の調査で発見された部隊が壊滅状態になったという話は聞いたことがある。それがどうかしたのか？
今回の三島財閥の動きと何か関係があるらしい。
気になるな。この件は俺が調べてみよう。何か分かったら連絡する。
頼む。
私も三島財閥のデータベースを検索してみました。鉄拳集が発見された遺跡調査に関するデータはあったのですが、どこにも碑文についての記載はありませんでした。
君でも調べられないとなると、あとは彼からの連絡を待つしかないな。这样就可以了吧？
Yes。
不过，人和一巴的冲突竟然会让全世界，我还不能接受这个现实。
The Lord of my people speaks no lies. Already the signs manifest themselves all across the planet.
或许，最终他们才是拯救世界的关键人物。你眼光不错，或许他们真的能做到。
He can.
I have no data relating to the buildings we encountered today. The elderly man inside had an obvious dislike for the Mishima Zaibatsu due to the fact they disposed of one of his acquaintances, registering sympathy. I wish to know the topic of his conversation with Lars.
And that concludes episode 3 of Tekken 6. As you can see from his map, this level branched out 3 different levels, and we'll tackle those levels in the next episode. The one in the middle is our current destination, but we need to complete the other levels aside from the one in the middle if you want to complete the scenario campaign mode 100%. Ergo, unlocking the other characters that are in those levels. So that's our plan in the next episode, and as for me, I'm going to explore as much as I can during this campaign. Alright, see you guys later.